I got this at Sherwin-Williams. It comes in a roll. All you want to do is rub the sheen off, the shine off the cabinet. So you don't want to go necessarily all the way down to the wood. All you're doing is opening up the pores so that the primer has something to stick to. You can see here, I just took the sheen off on the trim here. So that's step one, 220 grit sandpaper. We're taking off all the sheen on the cabinets. So now, all of the areas that is exposed to the outside, you need to sand and get all the sheen off. You can see the difference here between this and this. This is shiny, this is dull, this is kind of rough, this is smooth. You got to get all that sheen off so that we can put the primer down. It's recommended to take the doors off and all the hardware so you're not scuffing that up on the sander. So that's where we're at. Okay, so we just finished all of the interior sanding. We still have to sand the cupboard doors, but you can see just the difference in the contrast of the wood. A lot lighter, all that sheen came off. We're gonna put beadboard here and there just to kind of give it more of a modern look. But it's coming around. This has been a long day, probably about 8 hours since we started all this, so you're not gonna be able to finish in one day, but it'll be worth it. Okay, so here we are, right about to start the priming. We got all of the sanding done on the interior, so we're gonna go ahead and start the primer. You can see the contrast and the different colors. Right over here we're gonna put beadboard, which is why that hasn't been sanded. We're just gonna stick beadboard on there, so just a little bit of a different look. We left the cabinets off. All the wood area you see is gonna be primed. We went to Sherwin-Williams to get all of our supplies, and the primer we're using is this multi-purpose latex primer. That's what they recommended. We'll see how this goes. By the way, before you prime, we went over all the wood area with cheesecloth, which is just a real fine cloth to make sure you get all the dust particles off. We don't want any dust in there. So the next thing I'm doing is all the doors obviously were taken off. Now I'm outside sanding all of the the sheen off the cabinets. You can see the difference here. You know, the middle hasn't been sanded yet, this edge has. Basically you just want the shine gone. If you have the time to go down to the wood, I've been told it looks a little bit better, but as long as you get that sheen off so the primer has something to stick to. I'm just using a hand sander, which I got at Home Depot. I mean, just real basic, 50 bucks. You go through a lot of sandpaper. I recommend the roll that they sell, the 220 grit that comes in a roll. It's got kind of a rubber backing. It's kind of stretchy. It'll last you a lot longer, but you'll need a lot of sandpaper. At least I have. So that's where we are so far. So here we are. I've finished painting several of the cupboards, and I've started putting them back and putting the hardware on. So you can see just what a difference it makes once it's all done. Okay, so we're finally done. This has been a long project. I'm into this. I did it pretty much all by myself. A little help from my wife with the early stages of sanding, but I'm into it well over 50 hours with all the sanding, priming, painting. But as you can see, it turned out really, really, really nice. One request that my wife wanted was down here. You can see we did the beadboard on the edge of the cabinets on both the upper and lower. All of the other ones are white with the handles. It looks really sharp with the stainless steel, and then we've got this dark wood floor. So we're really, really happy. I did get new blinds as well. The old ones were the brown, and then I got new blinds over here for the door. Let me take a step back and you can see the full thing. So we're really happy with the results. I think anyone can do this if they have the time and the right paint and supplies. But it was well worth it. We're really happy with it.